What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode. Hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and share the video. Hit the join button and become a member. Why? Well, members get exclusive content. Hit the bell icon on my channel so that you'll receive a notification every time that I drop a video, and you can go and check the video out. Now, I'm trying to see where the hell the camera is on this phone, where I'm supposed to be looking into. When I played the video back yesterday, I realized I was not looking into the camera. I'm trying, people. You're going to have to bear with me. It doesn't say where the camera's at. Up here, I don't know. Is this it? Am I looking into the camera now? Maybe so. Maybe I should just do it and play it back and find out. In the meantime, please bear with me. Let's get into it. This story takes us to High Desert State Prison. Of course. And this situation transpired between a couple of Damus, Bloods. From up north, one was named Boss Hogg. I believe Boss Hogg was from Sacramento, a Sacramento Blood. He and I were in CYA together, as he had reminded me. Also, we came across each other in the Corcoran SHU program. I was there serving the 3 or 4 year term in the SHU for that situation that had transpired in High Desert State Prison against the COs. Boss Hogg had come through there and explained this entire situation to me. Years later, I was there on the yard where this transpired, however, in High Desert. And Boss Hogg had ended up attacking his cellie. His name began with an S. Incidentally, the story that I did about the neighborhoods attacking someone there in High Desert, and I said that baby EJ Cellie, who I referred to as baby EJ, wasn't particularly sure about his name. I wasn't sure about his Cellie's name. His Cellie's name is Chuck from 60s. It came to me. As I said, the other names would come to me as well. This one right here, so that was Chuck in that situation there. This situation here, his name started with an S, Boss Hogg Cellie, Skeezy, Sky, whatever the hell. And he liked to play with his nose with that Beyonce, that down, down baby. At this time, when he was doing this, it was sort of an anomaly. Not everyone was doing it. Now, if you're doing this, no one will probably bat an eye because it's going on in the community. Somewhat low-key, somewhat not always low-key. But this was in 2003 or so. And this was new on the scene for particular blacks to see other blacks entertaining in this sort of situation, entertaining themselves in this sort of way with that Beyonce. Nevertheless, he was doing it. And the word was kind of out on the yard that he was involved in this because it began to be a problem. Even Boss Hogg said that there in the cell, the dude began to nod off and mumble certain stuff under his breath. The stuff had began to get the best of him. And he began to get himself into situations there on the level 4 yard, C lower yard, dealing with other people in different races, chasing this dragon. And Boss Hogg said that he had told him that you need to calm down, that you're not making the car look good. We're Bloods, but the Bloods from LA, they take care of business. Down south, LA, Compton, etc. And their cars are tight and structured here on a level 4 yard. And you are giving the car a black eye. You are not making the car look good by these transgressions. So you need, in fact, he put a moratorium on his use and told him that he cannot use anymore for some time. Other cars, other factions oftentimes have these tactics where if you're getting yourself into debt or into trouble and bringing shame upon the car and potential violence, they'll tell you that you must cease with your usage. And should you transgress against that, then they're going to remove you from the yard. So Boss Hogg, pretty much running the up north Bloods, had told his cellie that he had love for. There was no more of this, that he must cease and desist with his usage. He had agreed and said, okay. However, a few days later, because that stuff is powerful, and oftentimes it's more powerful, it's stronger than your character, period. It's not that you don't have strong character, it's just that this stuff overtakes it. And sometimes you cannot surmount the obstacle of getting yourself clean if you are totally addicted. And this is the situation with him. Even though he had agreed that he would not use anymore or purchase anything from anyone anymore, he went against that. And he did it anyway. And he purchased something, excuse me, from a LA blood who was doing this stuff out there in the visiting area, back and forth, and pretty much had parts of the yard, pockets of the yard sold up. And he and Boss Hog Sally began to do business. And everything was on the up and up at first. But then Boss Hog Sally didn't pay up. He was buying small doses of the dude from LA, only to then turn around and get a bigger package later on and not pay for it. It was really all a setup, it seemed. It was really all a ploy to continue to pay your situations off to convince the person who's distributing this stuff that you're on the up and up, that you're a good customer. And then he puts more faith in you and gives you a bigger sack, and then you disappear and you don't show up with the money. Sometimes that's part of the plan, machinations on the part of these abusers who are not in control, oftentimes, of their actions. And the LA blood, he was upset. And he came to the up north car and let them know in no uncertain terms that this dude has to be removed from the yard immediately because he's been getting himself into too many situations, making the Bloods look bad, the up north Bloods in particular, and Boss Hog, he's a beast. I know him, he's a hog. That's why his name is Boss Hog. And he took it upon himself to remove his celly from the yard. He said that he wanted to be the one to do it because he had grew up with him and had known him. However, not just that, but that he had flouted what they had agreed upon. He had transgressed against his own word that he wouldn't go back down the rabbit hole. And Boss Hog had taken it personal and said that he was going to remove him from the yard. That he didn't even want to do it inside of the cell. He wanted to come out in public. I've explained that before. Why sometimes these vicious and violent assaults are perpetrated in public, on the yard or in the day room. It's oftentimes for shame and humiliation. And Boss Hog one day was out there and we was playing cards. Or he was playing pinochle at the table. They often gamble at the tables on the yard playing pinochle. But he had came out with nefarious intentions. And he wanted to publicly shame the dude who he felt like had brought shame upon the Damus. And out of nowhere, while playing cards, unbeknownst to anyone at the table, I'm sure some people was in on it, Boss Hog all of a sudden, because his celly was across from him playing cards as well. They were on teams, pinochle teams. But it was all a ruse to get him to the table and comfortable and around the crowd so that Boss Hog can get up, perform his duties, and hopefully get away with it. And out of nowhere, when the opposition of the card game, one of the other people that was playing cards on the other team began to deal the cards, Boss Hog jumped up out of nowhere and ran over there. I think his name was Shane or something. I'm gonna think of his name. He ran over there and he hit him up 2 or 3 times. This was his childhood friend, his partner, his boy. He had held off for some time. Reluctantly, he continued to give him chances. But he was really doing it out of favoritism. He was really doing it out of love. That he was giving him all of these chances. And he was at his wit's end. So finally, he had made up his mind that he was going to attack without any help. And he did just that, bro. He went over there and he hit him about 3 times. Boom, 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 quickly. Got rid of the tool. And then sat back down and picked up his cards as if nothing had ever happened. His cellie grabbed the parts that he had just been hitting, leaking, blood all on his hands. And he's looking at Boss Hogg, looking at his cellie in disbelief. But Boss Hogg, no, the police hasn't seen this yet. Or they don't know what's going on. It's a big yard, it's crowded. There's all kind of stuff going on. As I said, sometimes you can do stuff in prison and get away with it. But his cellie ended up getting up because he's bleeding and he needs medical attention. And he walked towards the gate. But Boss Hogg, he stands to get away with the situation as long as his cellie doesn't tell. Because no one at the table is about to say anything. No one else in the yard is about to say anything here in High Desert State Prison. And he left out to medical, leaking. And the police came and laid the yard down, searching. They went and hit Boss Hogg's cell since that was his cell. But Boss Hogg had never went to jail for that, had never went to the hole for it. They didn't get anyone for it. Another situation where someone did something and got away with it. And that was the up north bloods there in High Desert. They was deep up there in High Desert, the up north car period. Oakland, Frisco, Vallejo, Stockton, they were all up there. They had a strong car. And they too were putting in work. And, they were frolicking around with some of that stuff with their nose. But that's okay. Because blacks in LA were doing other stuff. You know what I'm saying? That I'm sure they found up north to be peculiar behavior. So who are we to judge? We all have our vices. However, it's best that we get control of these vices if we expect to live a long and prosperous life. And that's my message to everyone. If you're dealing with a problem that involves addiction and narcotics, you can overcome it. I grew up with that in my childhood. I'll probably get into that soon. In fact, it contributed to ruining my childhood as prominent family members had become addicted. And it changed the whole trajectory of my life. And so I have a special place in my heart for addicted people. And I just want to tell you that you can overcome it if you just believe in yourself. Excuse me. I have a bit of a cold. Stay strong and keep fighting. Have self-faith and self-belief. And that's it. I want to give a shout out to a brother who approached me yesterday or so and said, "Man, ain't you the big dude from YouTube?" I said, "Yeah. I've been getting recognized a little bit," but he is the first person that asked to take a picture with me. And it humbled me because I just felt like he thought enough about me and my content that he wants to be seen with me. And that sort of touched my heart. His girlfriend took the picture, took a couple pictures. He said, "Man, I didn't know you was that big." Yeah, that's because I'm on the computer or the phone. It doesn't really do me justice. But I am a specimen of a man, as he said himself. Whoa, yeah, man. Don't let the phone fool you. But shout out to that brother. I'm humbled by that. And I appreciate it. And I appreciate everyone's support. And I'm going to continue to do my best to bring you content that's worthwhile. And so that's the situation that had transpired in High Desert. The dude was playing with his nose. and it got himself into situation after situation. Also, and so Boss Hog had finally took care of business. Someone asked in the comments regarding the video yesterday, so what happened? The Southsiders just let that go, referring to the video I did yesterday about the bathroom etiquette, and that it just went up in a couple of sales. So I guess he was asking whether the Southsiders didn't attack the blacks after that. The answer is no, that was it. It did not go up on a whole tier. Normally it does. Normally it goes up on the entire tier, the entire module. Sometimes you don't catch wind of exactly what's going on, and it goes up later, once everyone finds out. In this situation, however, Stoney, he and I were cool, as I said, and he knew that his people was wrong. He had already told them not to press that line on our people. Not that he just was happy about what had transpired and just accepted it, but he understood it to just be business as usual. No need for us to all try to unalive one another over this situation. So he was inclined to let it go, which is conducive to get to good health, letting certain situations go. And I was inclined to let it go either because I was okay with it. We hadn't took any losses. You know, dude from Broadway took off on him, and that was it. And as I said, the 2 sales went up. Not all the time, most of the time, but not all the time, where every sale go up, bro. It's happened like that, surprisingly, where it's just was maintained and the problem was retained in those 2 sales and resolved right there, or 3 sales or whatever. And it never went up further than that. And that's what happened in that situation. Dude from Broadway took off, his celly took off, Damu next door took off, and that was it. They had a melee right there in those 2 sales. We came and squashed it, resolved it. And his people agreed to never, approach my people like that again with that sort of request. And that was the end of it. I was on guard. I was careful. I told everybody to be careful. I never let my guard down when there has been a situation, particularly with another race, and they say that everything is cool, everything has been resolved. Oftentimes, I don't believe it, which is why I'm ready always to go on the offensive if I sense any tension, instead of waiting to see if they're telling the truth about this shit being over. No, man, no, I'm not waiting on that. But in this situation, for various reasons, I did believe that the situation was over. I told the blacks to be on guard, to keep their tools, but I did believe that the situation was over and had been resolved, taking Stoney at his word. And it was. Nothing else transpired over that situation. That's what happened there. And that's what happened here in this situation in High Desert. The dude playing with his nose, his celly, his comrade, the dude that he grew up with. But there in prison, you don't know who you're going to have to attack. Someone that you care about, someone that's your celly, someone that you got love for, someone that's from your hood that you grew up with. You know his mother, you know his father, you know his sister. You dated his sister when y'all was both 16 years old. And now you have to attack him because of a rule or protocol that he transgressed against. It's a dirty game. It's a dirty game. It's hard, man. Stay free. Stay out of it. Stay out of those situations. That's it. And again, if you have a problem, you can overcome it regardless of what anyone says. All you have to do is believe in yourself. If other people don't believe in you, believe in yourself and understand that your life is worth living. You don't want to curtail your life by being addicted to this stuff that can shorten your life. Overcome the addiction with strength and determination and self-love. And you can do it. Any way that I can help you, reach out to me. In the meantime, I'll be back soon with more content, about to try to set this computer back up. I got to get going. I got to make this stuff happen. I got to get the message to the people. Stay free, people.